I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight for the candidate forum here at the Maggie Valley Town Hall. We appreciate everybody taking your time to attend tonight, and only through your participation does the democratic process work. It's your coming out here tonight that makes it happen. To each one of the candidates who's decided to throw your hat in the ring and take a stand for the community, thank you for your commitment. Tonight, everyone here will get a chance to find out more about each one of you and what you stand for and how that matches with their idea for which candidate they want to support. So let's get started. Tonight's forum is extra special because we are not the only ones asking questions. I'd like a special thank you to the Jonathan Valley Elementary School. Heather Hollingsworth and Laura Ernest are here, the teacher, and their kids have got special questions that they're going to ask the candidates. It's a way to encourage young kids to get involved in the civic process. And we invited Jonathan Valley Elementary School to participate, and they graciously accepted. Marcus Trout, Peggy Holshoe, and Lucy Snyder-Lowe are here. They're representing their school, and they're going to ask questions that were posed by their classmates. Allison Richmond from the Mountaineer is once again filming the forum. The event will be hosted on our website, themountaineer.com, and on the Haywood County Government channel in about 2 or 3 days. So let's get started. The format of the evening is going to go like this. Each one of the candidates has 1 minute for your opening statement. Our timer, Nathan Trout over here, will be timing you. When 10 seconds is left, he's going to hold up a yellow sign. That means you need to start wrapping it up. And then when he turns the red sign over, you need to stop, okay? If we kind of follow that schedule, it should take about an hour to get through. That'll be followed by questions and the question and answer portion of the program. We're going to alternate questions. I'll ask one question, and then one of the Jonathan Valley School kids will ask another question, okay? We'll try to start with a different person each time. After being asked the question, again, you have 1 minute to answer. Everybody clear? That works. Okay. We'll start with Mr. Davis. And in your opening statement, would you just tell everyone why you're running for this position? I want to remind everybody that we will not have a closing statement at the end. Okay? So be as thorough as you can in your opening statement.
Thank you. My name's Clayton Davis. I've lived in Maggie Valley for over 50 years. All 4 of my children went to school in this room here. Solomon's one of my heroes of the Old Testament. And he said, let another man boast about you, not your own mouth. I'm going to follow his advice. I'm going to tell you some people I've worked with and just ask you to ask them how I measure up in these different areas. Ask the farmers of Haywood County I've worked with for 12 years. Folks at the farmers market I've worked with for 15 years. Also the agricultural center. Also my neighbors and my family. The different ones that I've worked with, but if you don't get your questions answered, I do have a flyer that I'll be glad to give you a copy of. Thank you.
My name is Jesse Ketchum, 12 Lisa Lane, Maggie.
Louder, please. Louder. Use the microphones.
I thought I had it. How about now? Okay, I'm Jesse, live in Lisa Lane. I've lived here 27 years. I had watched Maggie go downhill because it was a beautiful place when I first moved here. We only had a single lane road, and now we got 4 lanes. I've always wanted to be involved. I've always been involved with city purchases. The company I worked for was like the military. I lived in Texas, Louisiana, Florida. In Texas, I was a reserve cop. Louisiana, I was a volunteer fireman. Maggie Valley, I'm too old for the fire department, too old for the police department. I would like to be involved with the city. Try to listen to people, and I would like to, we need to bring back business. There's too many vacant buildings in here in Maggie. 10 seconds quick, isn't it? I will do everything I can to help. Thank you. 10 seconds.
My name is Mike Evelyn, and I'm running for re-election. I'm going to go ahead and just say, like I did about this time 4 years ago, I promised to lead by example. I think that I've done that. I think the people in Maggie Valley, as well as Haywood County, know who I am. I think I'm very proud of the board that I work with and the town. I think that we've made big strides in moving forward. I do believe that we still have a lot to do, and I'd like to be a part of that process. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm running.
Hi, my name is Brooke Powell. I do not have a huge history as far as being in the public eye per se. I have lived here for not even 3 years yet. I've lived prior to this in Asheville for 20 years. Have a bachelor's and a master's degree in building construction. Have done a great deal of commercial construction. Had a small custom woodworking firm in Asheville for 11 years. Enrolled and took part in the Citizens Academy here in the town. Was thoroughly impressed with how this town is run. I feel like I'm a member of this town already, and I threw my name into the ring primarily because I do love this town, even though I am very green to it, and want to do anything that I can to help in any way and any capacity that's called upon me. Thank you.
Alan Osbrooks, I've been here 10 years. Came in here as tourism. I own Hearth and Home Inn on the east end of Maggie Valley. And I've been on the zoning board for 3 years, and I've been also on the planning board before that. 2 of my children have been raised here, and I've been an active member in the community since then. I'm very proud of Maggie Valley. I'm very proud of the path that she's been on for the last 10 years. And everywhere I go away from here, I'm also a mad advocate for Maggie Valley. And I'm looking forward to serving in a greater capacity.
Thank you very much. So we'll start with a question from the mountain here with Mr. Davis, and then one of the students will come up and ask their question. What we'll do is we'll start with the next person down the line on each question, so that you have a different opportunity to answer the question first, okay? Does that make sense? So Mr. Davis, the first question is, what is the most challenging issue facing the town of Maggie Valley?
I think that we can, as beautiful as it is, that we can still improve it. There's a middle ground that's practical. We can clean up some of the eyesores in a practical way, and we can also improve beautification. I've worked with this sometime in the past, was the lead man in getting the $75,000 from the DOT in the town beautification. And when when those red buds and dogwoods are in bloom, I think it's the prettiest street in western North Carolina.
Mr. Catchings, the same question. What is the most challenging issue facing the town of Maggie
The
Valley?
most challenging issue I see right now, every other building it looks like is vacant. We need to bring back business. Sorry. And we need stuff for families to do in this town. There is nothing, if a family comes in with 3 children, what do? They have nothing for them to do. We need to bring stuff for children, for families with children, and make this a friendly town again. I love motorcycles, but we need more than motorcycles in this town. And they make a lot of noise. Thank you.
Mr. Ingram?
The biggest challenge that we have both today and in the future is to continue on the path that we've created over the last 4 years. The greenways and the parks that we've put in have been a huge help to, they talk about what the kids do. They have more access to the creeks now than they ever have. And we want to continue that project as where we can. I think that the biggest challenge is to continue on a positive path and lead by example in terms of we as a board in the town and how we represent ourselves moving forward. I think businesses and those sort of things will continue to come back. I believe that, you know, it takes time and a lot of effort. We've seen changes already with things like Dollar General and some others that have moved in. The distillery, I think more is yet to come. So the big thing is to stay on the path and continue to do the right thing.
I completely agree with what Mike said as far as, excuse me, the path that Maggie is currently on and has been for the most recent past. The largest challenge that I see is the forthcoming, what's one of the largest budget items for Maggie, and that is the alteration to Soco Road or US 19 that is slated to take place. There's a great deal of planning and decision making and thought that needs to go in and being proactive with regards to the development and alteration of that. I think it's going to have a vast effect upon Maggie Valley as a whole, and I just see that as not so much the biggest challenge, but really quite possibly the biggest opportunity. Thank you.
Tying in with what Brooke says, we do have a very, very unsafe Highway 19 running through our town. Just in my place alone, over the past 5 years, I've had 3 accidents right in front of my place where people could have been killed. On this stretch of Delwood Road between the Exxon station and Ghost Town, we've had 7 citizens lose their lives in car crashes. I think everything we can do, whether it's more law enforcement or actually narrowing the lanes, anything we do to make that road safer is going to bring people back and make them more aware that we're trying to make a better place for everybody to visit.
So our next question is going to be by, have you picked their, okay, you are. Introduce yourself and then ask your question.
I am Maggie Horseshoe. I'm from Jonathan Valley Elementary School, and I want to ask, what can Maggie Valley do to benefit kids?
That would be Mr. Ketchum going first.
First thing I think we need to do is open the gates on the festival grounds and put in some sports fields, soccer fields, baseball fields, but you guys can have a place to go play. There's big enough space for everything to be, everybody to be able to use it. As a taxpayer, I feel like it belongs to you as a young person, you'll be paying taxes at a later date. It belongs to you. The soccer field, and like I say, sports fields needs to be done, improved, so y'all can have a place to go play. Thank you.
I think that some of the things that we've done in recent years and what we continue to do is to commit to greenways. I know that at the elementary school that the town has put in a access point for you and your classmates to be able to go down and have classroom and that sort of thing at the creek. I think that more that the town can do there will be beneficial to both the kids and the community. I know that the town does the mowing and keeps up y'all's place over that way, and we'd like that to continue. And I think that the park in the next year, one of the projects that we have is to improve the park back here so that some of the equipment and stuff gets replaced and fixed up. And that is a plan that we have in the 17-18 budget to get completed as well. So as we continue to do these projects, we feel that will continue to allow you to have access and availability to be able to enjoy some of what nature has to offer here in Maggie Valley.
Once again, I agree completely with what Mike says with regards to the green space. Yes, it is also part of the budget for the improvement of the park in the back of this structure here. Over and above really, ball fields and such, which are typically part of the school system as far as their sports facility program. I believe that, again, going through the Citizens Academy and getting a full tour of the park system that is in place, I was amazed, in awe of the amount of effort and money and planning, both current and future, that goes into the Greenway plan here in Maggie Valley. And I think that being such a natural place, that with regards to children playing outside, I think that the Greenway and the park system is a place to continue to put money and planning for the children. Thank you.
When my children were your age, every day after school, the first thing we did was play. And we came to the park behind the building. We found access points to the creek, and they were very limited. The advantage that you have now is that we now have 3 more parks in the system. There's the Greenway that was just opened last year. There are plans to add to that Greenway system. The park behind the building is going to be revamped and refurbished, giving you more opportunity to be outside. And that's just the town part of things. From the business aspect, we still have the 2 golf courses, and we also have the puzzle room on the other end of town. And we don't see that being utilized very much, but hopefully we can encourage you to go down there too. Thanks.
I would also agree with what Mike has said, and I want to say I'm delighted to see these young people here. I think the greatest thing we have going for us in the county here and in the valley, the young people, they're equal to the young people anywhere in the United States. It was my privilege to coach several horticulture judging teams open to every FA, and 4-H person in the United States. We had 3 national champion teams. We had 2 people from Haywood County that had the top score in the nation. You young people have a lot of potential, and we need to do everything we can to support you. Thank you.
What should the town's role be in economic development and promoting tourism?
Well, one of the paths that we've been on is, for example, is the festival grounds. We had 24 scheduled events this year, and if you go back 4 years ago, this was a plan that over the last 4 years we've cut the budget on that the taxpayers were paying by 2/3. And it has been a huge opportunity for Maggie Valley to help bring in people in those type of events. Some of the new planning that we're doing that will be on the board's table here probably in December and January on redoing the zoning. I think that's going to help long-term with the planning and the availability for people to be able to build and to do those kind of things. I think we're going to see that structure change and be easier for people to understand and read. And I just think that the town needs to continue to be positive and move forward in new buildings and new parks, and those type of things really help.
Only having a minute, I'm just going to jump on to really the aesthetics of Maggie Valley. First and foremost, it's situated in just an absolutely beautiful, pristine location on the planet. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful in the United States. I was amazed at the amount of effort that went towards just the autumn decorations that have taken place up and down Soco Road at every single telegraph pole. There is some form of decoration that has taken place. When I drive down Soco Road in either direction, I feel a certain sense of pride that the town is allowing to go forth and be displayed to every single visitor that drives up and down the main artery. I do believe that yes, there's some aesthetics with regards to some of the buildings that can be addressed and should be addressed. Over the long term, I don't think it's something that can actually be taken care of immediately, But in regards to that, I think that just the general outlook and appearance of the town is paramount. Thank you.
Maggie Valley's history is very, very steeped in tourism. And it's always been a welcoming committee, or a welcoming community. And that has only encouraged our visitors to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Sometimes we as business owners and we as community leaders fail to recognize that. And it's not an issue that we can just throw money at to make it better. What we have to do is throw our attitudes at it. You know, if we get lazy in our buildings and the way our buildings look, we're going to get there, it's going to be recognized. And I think one of the things we can encourage our business community to do is just take little steps, you know, whether it's putting out a planter or putting out a tree or something just each year, and it'll bring us back to our glory days.
One of our national contests was held in St. Louis, Missouri. There'd be about 400 people there. And we'd go on tours during the contest. And sitting down on the bus, I just introduced myself to the guy next to me. I said, I'm Clayton Davis from North Carolina. He said, North Carolina? He said, I've been in 27 states. And he said, the prettiest place I've ever seen in my life is the Maggie Valley, North Carolina. I think we ought to build on that. We can plant perennials. You just have to plant them one time. It'll take some work to get the citizens all up and down the valley to plant the same thing so that we have a flush of color every month of the year. And it is doable. Thank you.
I think one of the problems here is we have too many junkyards. If you're coming into Maggie Valley, one of the biggest, they got that big junkyard there with an old Ford truck with a busted windshield. That's really great to look at. Also, at Christmas time, we do no Christmas decorations. We put snowflakes and we advertise skiing, but we have no Christmas decorations put up. And I mentioned it to the council last January. And we're gonna take care of it. Well, ain't nothing been done yet. And I asked to be on the committee. And we need to bring our Christmas parade back, get the people to come back into Maggie Valley. Thank you.
My name's Lucy, and I'm from 5th grade, Jonathan Valley, and I was asking, how can you keep Maggie Valley safe and clean?
I think that it is a very clean and safe place to start with, but building upon that, I think that the police department is one of the best in Western North Carolina on a per capita basis. The amount of effort that goes into continued training, dealing with the public and talking to the public as far as what the general concerns, what is being missed takes place in a very active role by the police chief and their department. I think that part of it is the size that is a big selling point for us in Maggie Valley, and the amount of money that comes in here due to, and is present here, due to the number of second homes rather than primary residences, assists greatly with regards to us being able to stay on top of crime and keep it safe and secure for all those that do live here permanently as well as their second home. Thank you.
How can we keep Maggie Valley safe and clean? Well, we do a pretty good job of that already, I think. But maybe having awareness days where I actually think we already do that, don't we, Mike? Where we do cleanups. Do that more often throughout the year. Where people actually walk through the creek and clean it up, walk through the streets and clean up our buildings and such. Safety, let's just get people to slow down on Delaware and Soco Road. That's the big thing. Thanks.
I appreciate that question. When my oldest child was in an accident, a vehicle hit him, broke his collarbone. It could have been much worse. makes me sensitive to other families. We need to do everything, and the board, we bring this up probably every couple of months, working on safety in the valley here. Cleanliness, we do have the trash pickup. We're the only municipality in the county that has both the regular trash and the recyclable containers, and that helps make it, and the picking up of brush and that kind of thing. We're working, we've got some way to go, but we are working on that. That's a very good question.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a very good question, because you mentioned the trash pickup. I barely get my leaves picked up and put out without them coming picking them up. They do a good job here in Maggie keeping stuff clean. For safety, if the police department would patrol the area. I live 3 blocks from the police station. The last time I seen a policeman in my driveway, not my driveway, but in front of my house, was when Miss Price retired from it, become a police chief. She patrolled that area. You never see a police car in your neighborhood, either in Waynesville or sitting down here. I don't know what they're doing with it. You never see them do anything. They need to be more visible and patrol our neighborhoods, because crime is coming to Maggie. It's here before we know it. Thank you very much, and congratulations to you 3 young people.
Let me ask you this, do you, have you met or been able to meet in your classrooms any of the police officers?
No.
Okay, the SAFE program and that sort of thing, they will be getting involved within the elementary school. We try to, Maggie Valley does a good budget with that. We try to get the police officers out there so y'all get to know who the police officers are and what they're about, and we want you to know that the police are thinking of y'all and that you can call them anytime. I think that this is a question that takes more than a minute to answer, and certainly is a question that will be ongoing forever. I think the town does a great job right now with both of those, but there is still a lot to be done. And I think that that would be the best way for me to describe that, is that that's a question that will continue to be asked. And I think it's a good question to ask, and it's just going to take time and a lot of information to be able to answer that.
Thank you. What improvements could be made in town services to better serve Maggie Valley residents?
We already have a great public works and service department. One of our obstacles is our geographic location. It's hard to provide 100% services to 100% of our residents because of our geographic location. How do we improve on that? Maybe we centralize pickup locations for waste in the community rather than trying to get all the way up to the top of the mountains on these streets. Maybe we take more streets into our town's system. There are opportunities everywhere, but we just have to look at everything that we can do. Some things are practical and some things aren't. I'm fortunate that I live on the valley floor, so I don't have those obstacles. But somebody living at the top at the end of the road might not be able to get a trash truck or an ambulance out there. I don't know. That's a tough question to answer in a minute.
I think it's an ongoing project, but I am extremely pleased with the employees of the town. I think our town manager has done a tremendous job selecting people, and we have a team that works real well with the city council, and it's an ongoing project, but a lot has been done, and I'm proud of what has been accomplished.
I'm with everybody. I think the maintenance department has done a great job in keeping the town clean with the trash pickup. But the problem we have starting in Maggie, 90% of us has got gray hair. And it would be nice if they could do something with leaves where we could put them and use a vacuum machine. Just buy the trailer and then use the truck to pull it to help with the leaf pickup. Because a lot of these people, myself, getting too old to do that kind of stuff. So we, like I say, we need to take the gray-haired people more in consideration. Thank you.
I think the two areas that come to mind there are roads and continued involvement within the police department. I know there's a new program that they started earlier this year, I believe, involving getting out into the community, especially to the commercial, and introducing the police officers and that sort of thing, so everybody gets to know each other instead of not being. And I know that they're in the process of doing that in roads. Roads, whether they be repair, whether they be something that the town owns or doesn't own, that's a continued project that is ongoing. And I think that we can continue to find new and better ways of making sure that that stuff gets accomplished. The police department just getting to know people and making sure that they're out in the community and introducing themselves, especially in a community that comes and goes for 3 to 5 months at a time. So there's neighborhoods that we police and that sort of thing that we don't see anybody in for long periods of time. So those are some projects that I think that are, there are some things in place. We're working on roads and we're doing those things, but that's a continued project I think needs to continue to improve.
I think Mike hit on a lot of really good things there. I'm just going to piggyback on some of those things, as well as bring up a couple of items as well. From what I've seen through the Citizens Academy is, first off, Alan made mention of the geographic area. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge in this area. However, if one is to look at the town of Maggie city limits itself, the majority of it is down low. But at the same time, the town, from where I live in a subdivision that is, all of the roads are owned by the subdivision itself. However, the town does amazing feats throughout the winter and cleanups where they don't have to in our area, but they just care about the town. I think that question should really not so much be answered by myself, but the people that are really on the front line. For instance, Mike Mahaffey with Public Works and Nathan Clark as the town manager. They're fabulous resources and should be used, and that question put to them as well. Thank you.
My name is Marcus Trout from Jonathan Valley Elementary, 5th grade. And my question is, what do you think we need to add or take away to make Maggie Valley a better place?
Would you repeat that, please?
What do you think we need to add or take away to make Maggie Valley a better place?
And that question's to Mr. Davis.
Probably the biggest question facing the valley is the drug problem. 71% of the arrests by the police department is drug related. We need to do everything we can to protect you young people from this drug thing. We're in between Asheville and Cherokee, and we're vulnerable. But the police are working diligently on this, but we, as citizens, board members, and parents and everybody, we need to do everything we can to protect you young people from the ravages of drugs.
Unfortunately, I got to totally agree, not unfortunately, but I have to totally agree with everything Mr. Davis said, because we do need to eliminate the drugs out of our city. And I want to let it go with that. Everything he said, I agree with.
Well, drugs in our midst is certainly something that's very important to both the board, the police department, and the citizens. I think that's a given that this is an ongoing thing, and the drugs that are coming through the valley are coming through the valley. So they're either being transported to or from Asheville, to or from the casino. And so those are where the police department has put their efforts over the last year or two, and I think they will continue. As far as adding to the valley, what would be great would be a 90,000 seat football stadium. You know, just my thoughts there, you know, something that we could enjoy on the weekends and, you know, whether it be college or, it doesn't matter. We would enjoy that, but beyond that, I think we could have some fun with that, don't you? There you go.
Good.
I think in regards to the drug situation, absolutely that's spot on. We need to try and not so much eliminate it, but do our best to prevent any kind of growth from happening. It's here to stay, but it needs to be dealt with on a daily basis, and the police need to have great involvement with regards to that strategy. The main thing that I would say on top of that would be that the roadway project, Soto Gap, the main artery and transportation route for Maggie Valley, there are great pluses and minuses, things to gain and take away with the improvement and alteration of the Soto Road and the project that's forthcoming. Thanks.
The drug issue is certainly a huge thing that we have to face every day, unfortunately. The only thing I could say that we do is continue the education against the pitfalls of it, the consequences, and just keep it on the forefront. The Mountaineer does a good job of telling us, how bad the situation is. And then take personal action to take it away from your homes and your families. What can we add or take away from Maggie Valley? I don't think I would take away anything from Maggie Valley to make it better. We have some great parks, we have great hiking trails, we have some amazing places to just go hang out in nature. And I think we should build on those and encourage people to get outside more and put the phones down.
What measures do you think could be taken to improve the traffic issues for pedestrians?
Put a toll gate to come in and no. There is not a whole lot to do with it because we are a thoroughfare from Asheville to Cherokee. All we need to do is have a police presence. There's not. You just need to be out there where it can be seen. And like Alfred said, I forgot his name. Right, start writing tickets. Slow them down because it's dangerous out there. And where I live off of Summit Drive, sometimes you take your life in your hands to get up there because, like you said, it's a racetrack. Even in the neighborhoods, I live on Summit Drive. They come down that mountain 60, 70 miles an hour. Somebody's going to get killed. And that's what it's going to take to slow them down. The same out here. They need to have a major wreck to slow the traffic down. Thank you.
First of all, I don't believe that everybody that comes through the valley should be getting a ticket. I know that last month, in the month of September, there was 40-some warning tickets that were given out and 30-some citations. I think the police department is consistently trying to do their job in the best way they know how, without putting us in a position where we're a speed trap or that type of thing. Long term, the town is doing a new project over 3 to 5 years. It's going to cost $2.4 million. That's going to help alleviate a lot of those problems on the crosswalks. Short term, I think it's all about knowledge and just we, the people here in Maggie Valley, making sure that they see us slowing down and stopping for people in the crosswalks. Lead by example in that regard. And again, the police department doing what they've been doing and continue to do. And I think the projects that the board has put forth and the commitment that we have to this road and to the safety of the people long term is going to really be a big help.
I believe that the police department here is tremendously diligent with regards to the traffic. They are up against a very large challenge. As Mike brought up, the roadway project over the next 3 to 5 years is going to have a dramatic effect upon the artery, the speed, and the safety, to put a point on it, the safety of the pedestrians. Currently, there are traffic walkways, we'll say, or crosswalks that do have the yellow flags, but they obviously do not, some efforts have been made, but they do not actually take care of the issue at hand. The new plan takes a much more aggressive approach with regards to the protection of the pedestrians and crosswalks, lighting, and attention to the pedestrians. I think it's just going to be an invaluable asset to the town and the valley. Thank you.
The pedestrian safety plan is a huge step in the right direction. And it's probably the third or fourth version of the plan in 3 or 4 years. This is not a new issue. The current board and even our mayor knows that oftentimes when we come to the alderman meetings, I'll stand up and remind people the speed limit in our town is 35 miles an hour. That's just what I do. I set my speed control at the speed limit when I enter the town limits. There's just no reason why we need to fly through town. And the only way we can do that is to take personal responsibility, set our own speed limits, or set our own cruise controls for the speed limit, and encourage other people to do it. That's all I can think of.
I've been impressed with the importance that the board has put on this, the 2 years I've been on the board. It has been discussed numerous times, and Solomon said in a multitude of councilors, there's safety. I think we're paddling in the right direction. There's still, it is dangerous, those crosswalks. We need, and plans are to make it more visible that you're coming up on one, but it's not being ignored. It's a good question.
Okay, one more question. Do you support the brunch bill that would allow the sale of alcoholic beverages beginning at 10 a.m. on Sunday?
I'm not going to answer that question because we just had a meeting last night and got some information from the public. I would tell you that there's 3 paths to take there. One is on a religious side that would say absolutely not. I would say that there's one on the commercial side that would say that we don't need to be handicap our commercial people, and then there's the thought process on Maggie Valley in general in terms of are we progressive or are we not, okay? So those are 3 questions that have to be answered. I've got till next month to make that decision, and I certainly am looking at that aggressively. I do have a commercial stake in this. However, we're more geared on Sundays towards the church and people that are coming in. We would not benefit, nor would we be involved in that process. So it's a decision that will be made next month at the local board meeting.
I think it's really important for the people up here, primarily talking for myself, to listen to the people in the town, what their thoughts are, what their grievances are, what their concerns are, their fears with regards to making a change. I can't say that this is a huge dramatic change that's going to be, making and breaking. However, I think it's best to listen to the constituency and make decisions based upon that input. If a person was to ask my own opinion, I personally am not in favor of it. I don't see the need. However, if my constituency says, no, we definitely want it, the business owners, and there's a push for it, I'm here to represent the town, not my own wishes. So, thank you.
It's a tough question to answer sometimes. When you look at it from a business perspective, why do we continue to hamstring our business based on laws that don't apply to everyone? Probably being the only Jewish person in the room, Sunday is just another day for me, and if I want to have a drink before noon, I think we should be able to, as long as the laws of the restaurant or the business are being followed. But, that's just my personal opinion. I don't see a problem with it.
I think Mike did an excellent job describing the position of the board and the action that, evaluation that they're looking at. And I don't have anything to add to what he said.
I have one question. Why can't they wait 2 hours? I mean, what's the big deal for 2 hours to get a drink? Personally, I'm against it, but go with whatever the public, wants. But my opinion is, They can wait 2 hours. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'd like to say one thing. Thank you for the young people. I think you guys did a great job.
So that concludes the questions for tonight. I want to thank you all once again for participating in the process and throwing your hat in the ring. I'd like to thank you kids for your part. Excellent job. Few questions. And for your teacher. Thank you for helping your kids to
Thanks for asking
formulate
us.
these questions. Thank you for coming, everybody. Good night and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for having you.